How are you? Remember, that's the sign for how do you feel? Say feel in you, but it really is the equivalent to our greeting in English, how are you? You could sign how are you or how you. There's no verb to be in American Sign Language, so you don't sign the verb to be. And that's not so strange. A few languages, spoken languages, don't have a verb to be in the present tense either, like Hebrew, and I'm sure there are others, I don't know what they are, because if you think about it, it really isn't necessary. It does sound bad in English if we say, I, teacher, you, plumber, you, lawyer. It sounds like Tarzan or something. That's in English, it sounds bad. But in American Sign Language and in Hebrew, it sounds completely normal to leave out the verb to be, because it's really a little bit redundant. It does make sense. It doesn't sound good to our ear, but it does make sense. And it's enough information if you say, he, doctor. It's absolutely clear. You understand. It just doesn't sound good in our grammar. We're used to hearing the verb to be in there. So in American Sign Language, they don't have a verb to be, and it's not missing. And it's not an abbreviation of English. It's perfect grammar in ASL. Here's another example, comparing three languages. And we would say that English is, we all know it. We know English if you're listening to this. Hopefully you understand English. And Spanish is another language that's spoken by billions of people. Okay, so in English we say, I'm not going to sign it, I'll just say it. I am 40 years old. In American Sign Language, we sign I, old, 40. Or I, age, 40. Because this is the sign for old or age, like representing a long beard. But in Spanish, you say, yo tengo 40 años. I have 40 years. Which is the best? None of them are the best, none of them are the worst. They're all perfect in their language. In Spanish, you express age using the verb to have. In English, we express age using the verb to be. And actually, if you transliterate or translate word for word from English into Spanish or another language, it sounds kind of funny to say, I am, you're saying who you are. I am 40 years and then old. You even say it about a small child in English. I mean, if you want to talk about logic, a child who's only 2 years, you say he's 2 years old. You throw the word old in there, and in some languages it sounds absurd. You say, well, that child's not old. And because in English it's the way the expression works. He's 2 years old. Well, in sign language they just sign I, age, and then your age, whatever the number is, 40, 30, 20, 15. And so that's just to compare grammars. Grammars are different in each language, and so you need to learn American Sign Language grammar. And hopefully I'll do a video on the grammar of ASL. But let's start off with some very important question words. We need the question words. We need to be able to sign them, execute them, and we need to be able to understand them. So these are good to practice with your friends and to watch this video and then to do them yourself, practice along with me right now. Okay, let's start off with the first one. What? What? You could sign it with one hand, what, or you can sign it with two hands, what. Another way of doing it is like this, what. You have this hand shape, and then you take your finger and you slide it along, touching each finger, what. The more ASL one, I would venture to say, is this one, what. Question words are put at the end of the sentence, at the end of the question in American Sign Language. So you would say for what do you want to eat would be you eat want what. So you put it all kind of backward. First you say what it is you're talking about. You eat, that's the subject, and you want to eat, and then at the end, what? What do you want to eat? Okay, the next question word is where. You do it with one finger, palm facing the person you're signing to, you just move your finger back and forth. Where? As to say, is it over there? Is it over there? You're pointing to the place. You just do where. You could also, for emphasis, you could say where and do it with two fingers at the same time. The next one is how. How, we've seen this before. Just go out like this. How. And how are you is how you. How are you? Of course, you should have a question on your face when you're doing this, so it would be like, where? what, how. Another way to do how is just like this. How, you just put both hands together and you move the right one. I'm right-handed, so I would go like that. If you're left-handed, you would move your left one. And if you're left-handed, you would ask where using your left. You would do everything with your left hand as your dominant hand. The next one is which. Which, use this hand shape with your thumbs up. You just go up and down. Which, is it this one or is it this one? Which. That's the sign for which. They're easy to remember. Next is who. Who has 3 different variants. This is the most common, I would venture to say. Who. Who. The next would be, instead of bending your finger at the knuckle, you just move your finger at your, the big knuckle that connects your finger to your hand, and you just move it like that. Who. I've seen it like that. Or who. A little bit older way to do it, the original way to do it. Who. Making a circle in front of your mouth. I think this is probably the most common way to do it. Who. You know, when you want to have a question on your face. Who. And you always put that at the end of the question. Next is how many or how much. It's just one sign for either how many or how much. You start with the S hand shape, you put it in front of you, and you just go up. You open your hands like that. So you're basically starting with the S, and then you're going up, except this is the orientation that your hands should be in. Right in front of you, with the back of your hand to the face of the person you're talking to. You have a question on your face, maybe your eyebrows are raised, and you say, like that. How much? You could do it twice if you want. Try to avoid doing too much repetitive movement with your hands, though. It kind of drives deaf people crazy, even though they're very patient with us hearing people. So just do one movement. How many? But you might see like this, how many? You're going from the S's up to the 5 hand shape. Your hand orientation is like this. That's how many or how much. All right, what time is it? This is the sign for time. You don't point to where the watch would actually be, but just to the back of your hand, sign for time. If you have a question on your face, it means what time, at what time, okay? And the next one is why. Why? You have your hand in this hand shape. You put your fingertips on your forehead, off to the side, or you could do it in the middle. First, I'll show you this way, and then you come down to the Y hand shape, so that's easy to remember. Why? It's the question word why, like why did you do something, or how come? Why? How come? It could also possibly be what for, but there is a separate sign for that. So you do why, or you can do it right from the middle of your forehead. Some people will sign it like this. Why? Why? They might even do it with 2 hands. Why? Usually it's just with 1 hand. I think some people even do it like this, where they just flick their middle finger off their forehead for why. The most common is like that, why, and that's also how come, like I said. Now the last one is what for. Well, if you make your hand like this hand shape, like the number 1, you put your finger on the side of your, like where you're a little bit above your temple. I guess this is my temple, right up here, temple, forehead, and then you just move your finger out once. That's a sign for 4. If you do this twice, you don't actually have to touch your forehead. You could just like be very close to it, and then you move your finger twice like that. That would be what for. You're literally signing for, but it really means what for. What for. Of course, my eyebrows go up and I have a question on my face. So what, where, how, who, how much, why, what for, how come, which, how much, how many. Okay, now let's practice this combination. We have what's up, what's up. You use the open 8s on the chest and you go up. What's up? What did he do? What did you do? What would you do? You can use that for any kind of combination of what and do. What did you do? What would you do? What did he do? What did she do? What are they going to do? We did what for, and now the last one is why plus not. So you practice that, put them together. Why not? Why not? Why not? So practice a lot. See you soon.